Why waiting for perfect is killing your joy, and how to love life as it is today. I was standing in front of a burnt-down coffee shop, staring at what used to be my dream. Just 48 hours earlier, I'd put the final coat of paint on the walls. Months of sacrifice, every dollar I had, sleepless nights, and in one spark, it all turned to ash. I remember the exact moment. I dropped to my knees and whispered, "Why now? Why me?" That day, I thought life was unfair. But now, years later, I realized that was the day Stoicism came to life for me. Not in a book, not in a quote, but in ashes and tears. That fire? It burned away my illusions of control. And it taught me one of life's most brutal and beautiful lessons. Waiting for life to be perfect is the fastest way to waste it. This video isn't just about philosophy. It's about you, your pain, your delays, the secret dreams you're saving for someday. I'm going to show you how Stoicism can set fire, not to your plans, but to the lies we believe about perfection. By the end of this, you won't be waiting for life to begin. You'll already be living it. Let's get something out of the way. We've been brainwashed to think joy is around the corner. Just one more promotion. Just lose 10 pounds. Just get through this week. We live in a constant state of postponement. It's like we're stuck in an airport terminal, waiting for the flight to happiness. But no one tells us the gate's been closed for years. Here's the truth. There is no perfect moment coming. I know, that hits hard, but stay with me. This isn't about losing hope. It's about reclaiming your power. Epictetus, a Stoic slave turned teacher, once said, "You don't control the events. You control your response." But most of us do the opposite. We try to control the future and ignore the present. We build castles in the sky and curse the ground we walk on. So let me ask you, how many moments have you skipped because they weren't perfect yet? How many sunsets have you scrolled past because your inbox had 11 unread emails? How many I love yous have you swallowed because you were waiting for the right time? I used to do this all the time. I told myself, when I finally have time, I'll call my dad. But the truth is, I had time. I just didn't have presence. And when he passed unexpectedly last year, I realized I was waiting for a version of life that never existed. Let me take you into one of the rawest experiences of my life. It was a Tuesday. I was supposed to be editing videos. Instead, I was sitting in a sterile hospital room, holding my dad's hand while machines beeped around us. I wanted to say everything, but words felt heavy. I kept thinking, why didn't I just call more? Why was I always waiting for the weekend? That moment cracked something inside me. It forced me to ask myself a brutal Stoic question. What if today is as good as it gets? What if your life, right now, with its messiness, flaws, and unanswered questions, is the gift you've been postponing? The Stoics weren't trying to make life sound easy. They knew it wasn't, but they did offer a weapon against despair, a lens that burns through illusion. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So why do we wait for the outside world to align before we allow ourselves to smile? I want you to imagine something with me. Close your eyes. Actually, do it, and picture the perfect day. No stress, no debt, no fear, everything in place. Got it? Now ask yourself this. What emotion does that day give you? Peace? Joy? Gratitude? Here's the kicker. You don't need that perfect day to feel those emotions. You need only to decide that your current day deserves them. Right now. It's not a self-help gimmick. It's ancient truth. The Stoics believed in amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. It doesn't mean resignation. It means embracing every moment as necessary, even the hard ones. That fire I told you about earlier? It destroyed more than my coffee shop. It destroyed my ego, and in the space where my pride used to live, I found peace. Because when you stop demanding perfection, you start experiencing freedom. Let me show you something wild. We took a group of people, all high achievers, and stripped away their schedules for a day. No phones, no meetings, Just one assignment. Walk around the city and notice what you've been missing. At first, they were frustrated, fidgety. One guy almost had a panic attack from not checking email. But by hour 3, something magical started happening. They noticed the colors of buildings, the sound of birds, the way a stranger smiled at them for no reason. And when we asked them to rate their happiness on a scale of 1 to 10, most scored themselves higher than they had in years. Not because life was perfect, but because they were finally present. You see, waiting for perfect kills your joy because it teaches your brain that now is never enough. And what Stoicism teaches is this: now is all you ever had. Here's where it gets real. You've probably been lied to by the world in subtle ways. Every ad, every Instagram post, every 10-step guide to happiness tells you you're not enough yet. But the Stoics whisper something else. You're already enough. Not when you're richer, not when you're thinner, not when everyone likes you. Right now, as you are, in this exact, imperfect, sacred moment. I'll never forget this one kid I mentored. Let's call him Tyler. He was obsessed with becoming a millionaire before 30, grinding 18-hour days. Every conversation was about money, strategy, or time hacks. But one night, I caught him staring blankly at the rain outside the window. "You good?" I asked. And he said, "I think I'm succeeding at the wrong thing." He had the money, the car, the apartment, but joy slipped through his fingers every time. So we did something radical. For 30 days, we practiced one Stoic principle together: practice misfortune. It's something Seneca taught: intentionally imagine or experience discomfort to appreciate what you already have. We ate plain rice, slept on the floor, no tech, no luxury, just life, raw and unfiltered. And on day 17, Tyler said something I'll never forget. "I feel lighter, like I stopped waiting to deserve happiness." That's what I want for you. To stop auditioning for life and start living it. Because the truth is, perfection is a myth. It's a prison disguised as a promise. And every day you wait for it, you're letting joy expire unused. So here's a challenge. Starting today, stop negotiating with the present. Love it, breathe it in, embrace its chaos, hug its imperfections like long-lost friends. You're not running late to your best life. You're already in it. And if you're still with me, get ready, because in the next segment, we're diving into the surprising ancient Stoic technique that breaks you free from the prison of someday, and how it can radically shift your entire emotional reality in just 1 week. The ancient Stoic technique that unlocks joy, even in chaos. I want to take you somewhere unexpected. Not a temple, not a classroom, but a battlefield. Imagine a Roman soldier, covered in dust, blood, standing knee-deep in mud. Arrows fly overhead, and yet, he's calm, not because he's fearless, but because he's trained for this moment. His teacher? A Stoic philosopher. And that technique I promised you? It's the ancient Stoic weapon called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, I know, but stick with me. This technique isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming unshakable. Here's how it works. Every morning, you imagine things going wrong. Yes, you intentionally imagine the job loss, the breakup, the argument, the accident. But instead of letting it destroy you, you prepare your mind for it, and something profound happens. You begin to realize you can handle it. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." Now think about that. How much of your stress comes not from reality, but from resistance to reality? We expect life to unfold perfectly, and when it doesn't, we fall apart. But when you've already walked through the fire in your mind, the heat in real life doesn't burn as badly. I practiced this for the first time when I had $27 in my bank account. Rent was due, I had no backup, no family to lean on. So I sat down, closed my eyes, and imagined losing everything. sleeping in my car, washing in gas station sinks, eating canned beans for weeks. And then, I opened my eyes. I was still in my apartment. I still had food. My mind stopped racing. I realized, I'm not dead. I'm not helpless. I'm not done. And from that calm, I found a solution. I reached out to people, picked up small jobs, hustled, and guess what? I made it through. But the joy came not from fixing things. It came from knowing I could face the worst and still be okay. That's the hidden gift of premeditatio malorum. It strips fear of its sharpness. It trains your soul to meet life, not with panic, but with poise. Let me show you how this can change your life in just 1 week. Day 1. Start your morning by imagining the day falling apart. Not in a panicked way. Just observe it. Imagine your train is late. Your boss yells. You spill coffee on yourself. The project fails. Sit with that discomfort. Then ask, if all this happens, how will I respond like a Stoic? Day 2 to 3. Go a little deeper. Imagine losing something you rely on. Your phone, your savings, even a loved one. Feel the ache. Don't run from it. Instead, whisper what Epictetus said. What is yours is given for the moment, not forever. By day 4 to 7, something magical happens. You'll begin walking through life with a strange calm. You'll smile when the waiter messes up your order. You'll shrug when traffic hits. You'll stop fighting life's currents and start swimming with them. I remember mentoring a woman named Layla. She was addicted to control, schedules, perfection. Her life was a checklist, and any disruption sent her spiraling. So we tried this together. At first, she cried, "Why would I imagine losing my kids? That's cruel," she said. But by week 2, she called me, voice shaking, not from fear, but realization. "I sat in traffic for 2 hours today," she said, "and I was okay. I looked out the window and felt grateful just to be breathing." That's the shift. When you stop demanding life to be perfect, every moment becomes a gift, even the painful ones. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And let me tell you, most people aren't really living. They're waiting. For peace, for love, for certainty. But peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from embracing it. This next part might hurt to hear, but it's crucial. There will never be a version of your life that's free from loss, uncertainty, or pain. Let that sink in. You will lose things you love, you will fail, you will be misunderstood, and you will stand alone at times. But here's the Stoic miracle. None of that can steal your joy if you've chosen to stop waiting for perfect. Let me tell you about Julian. He was a firefighter, strong, fearless, the kind of guy who ran toward flames while others ran away. But one day, a building collapsed during a rescue mission. He survived, his partner didn't. Julian spiraled, survivor's guilt, depression. He told me, "I wish I'd just been perfect that day. Maybe he'd still be here." That haunted him for years, until he read something from Epictetus. You are not disturbed by events, but by your judgment about them. That quote shook him. He realized he was punishing himself not because of the tragedy, but because of the belief that he should have prevented it. He was waiting to be perfect, to never make mistakes, to always save the day. But no one, no matter how strong, can control the wind. So we worked through the Stoic process together. We practiced premeditatio malorum. He imagined future disasters, not to dwell, but to prepare. And slowly, he found peace. He went back to work, but not to be a hero, just to be present, to serve, to accept that some days would break him, and others would build him. Julian stopped waiting for life to guarantee happy endings. And because of that, he finally started living. Now I want to ask you something deeply personal. What is the thing you're waiting to be perfect before you finally allow yourself to be happy? Is it your body, your career, your family, your bank account? Now imagine this. What if that thing never becomes perfect? Could you still choose joy? Could you still find beauty? Could you still say, "This is enough"? That's not settling, that's strength. And that's the Stoic art of amor fati. To love not just the good, but the entirety of your fate. To say yes to all of it. The laughter and the loss, the chaos and the calm. Because when you do that, when you fully embrace life without condition, you unlock a kind of joy that perfection could never give you. And here's the wild paradox. The moment you stop needing everything to be perfect, that's when everything starts to feel right. That's when sunsets glow brighter. When silence feels peaceful. When a cup of coffee becomes a miracle. So if you're feeling lost, or numb, or exhausted from trying to be enough, take this moment, right now. Breathe in, slowly. Say to yourself, "This moment is enough. I am enough, and I don't need to wait anymore." Because you don't. This world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the present one. And if you've made it this far, I want to give you something powerful. A final practice, one that changed my life. Every night, before bed, ask yourself 3 Stoic questions. 1. What did I do today that honored the moment? 2. What did I resist that I could have embraced? 3. If today were my last, would I have lived it well? Don't wait for tragedy to wake you up. Wake up now. Because the life you're postponing? That's this one, right here, right now. And I promise you, when you stop waiting for perfect, you'll start feeling life again. Raw, real, beautiful. So if you're ready for the final piece of this journey, if you want to know how to retrain your mind to fall in love with life exactly as it is, even in your darkest hour, stick with me. What I'm about to share next is the Stoic mindset reversal that took me from broken to unbreakable. And it might just be the final key you've been searching for. How to rewire your mind to love the life you have, even in your darkest hour. I want you to come with me one last time, into the darkest chapter of my life. 3 years ago, I lost everything. My business failed, my closest friend betrayed me, and on top of it all, I got diagnosed with a condition that forced me into months of bed rest. I couldn't work, couldn't even walk some days. I felt like life had slammed the door shut. I remember lying there, staring at the ceiling, thinking, this isn't the life I planned. And that's when it hit me, of course it isn't. No one plans for failure. No one schedules betrayal or pain. But here I was, alive, broken, and strangely aware. Because in that silence, stripped of all distractions, all ambitions, all noise, I started to see again. A beam of sunlight warming my hand. The sound of rain tapping against my window like a rhythm from the sky. A single breath, slow and steady, reminding me, I am still here. And that moment became the birthplace of the most powerful Stoic shift I've ever experienced. It wasn't a quote. It wasn't a strategy. It was a reversal of perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I started asking, what if this moment is exactly what I needed to become who I'm meant to be? That's the secret, my friend. Not changing your circumstances, but changing your relationship to them. And that's where the deepest Stoic wisdom lives. See, most people think happiness is about improving conditions. But the Stoics knew better. Happiness is about improving perception. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. In your way of thinking. Now think about that. Your life doesn't have to change for your joy to rise. Your mind does. So here's what I did next, and what I want you to do with me. It's called the view from above. It's a Stoic practice that can dissolve anxiety, fear, shame, and completely rewire your perspective. Close your eyes for a second. Seriously, do this. And imagine floating above yourself, looking down at your current life, your room, your problems. Now rise a little higher. See your entire neighborhood, keep rising. You see the whole city, then the country, then the spinning globe. Eventually, you're in space, silent, still, watching the blue planet below you. And from here, do your worries seem as overwhelming? That fight with your partner, does it still define you? That missed opportunity, does it really spell doom? Or do you realize, this moment is just one breath in the lungs of eternity? That's the gift of the view from above. It humbles your ego, but elevates your soul. It reminds you, you are both small and sacred. You are not the center of the universe, but you are part of its great unfolding. And that makes your experience valuable not because it's perfect, but because it's real. You're alive, here, now, and that alone is a miracle. I used this technique during my recovery. Every time fear grabbed my chest, I'd float up in my mind. And from that height, I'd see, pain is not the enemy. Attachment to perfection is. I didn't need my body to be flawless. I didn't need my life to be on schedule. I just needed to love what is, not because it was ideal, but because it was mine. And slowly, inch by inch, joy returned, not from circumstances changing, but from me changing. So let me ask you again. What if this is enough? Not forever, just for now. Can you find joy in this single breath? Can you smile at this imperfect morning? Can you love your scars, your flaws, your mess, not as failures, but as evidence that you've lived? Because here's the truth no one tells you. Joy isn't hiding in some perfect version of your life. Joy is hiding in your attention. Right now, as you watch this video, it's waiting. In the way your chest rises and falls. In the sound of your breath. In the miracle that you're here, beating, thinking, feeling. There's a man I met in hospice care who changed me forever. His name was George, 84 years old, dying of cancer. I visited him during a volunteer shift, and I expected sorrow, regret, fear. But George smiled like a man who just fell in love. He said, "Every morning I wake up, I wiggle my toes. If they still move, I know I get one more day to enjoy this weird, beautiful world." He knew he was dying, but he wasn't waiting to live. He looked at me and said something I'll never forget. People waste so much time waiting to be happy, and then they die still waiting. That hit me like thunder. And I hope it hits you too. Because if you're watching this, you're not dead, you're not done. You still have time. Time to laugh, to cry, to forgive, to start over, to breathe deeper, to hug longer, to say thank you, to notice the stars. Time to stop chasing some fantasy version of yourself and start falling in love with the real one. Right here, right now. And if you're wondering, how do I even begin? I'll give you the simplest Stoic practice I know, the one I return to every day. It's 3 words. This is it. Say it when you wake up. Say it when things go wrong. Say it when the world feels heavy. This is it. Not tomorrow, not someday. This moment, with all its cracks and chaos. This is your life. And it doesn't need to be perfect to be precious. I want to leave you with a final challenge, one that could change your entire experience of life. For the next 7 days, every time something doesn't go your way, do 3 things. 1. Smile. Yes, actually smile, even if it's forced. Train your body to greet imperfection like an old friend. 2. Say, amor fati, love of fate, whisper it, let it become your shield. 3. Ask, what is this moment teaching me? Not, why me, but, what now? And by the end of the week, watch how your spirit changes. Because when you stop fighting life, you start flowing with it. You stop waiting, and start witnessing. You stop escaping and start experiencing. You stop needing things to go your way and start trusting that maybe, just maybe, life already is going your way. Even when it hurts. Even when it breaks. Even when it rains. Because every drop is washing away the illusion of control and revealing the truth. Joy is not the reward for perfection. Joy is the reward for presence. You're already enough. Not because you've done everything right, but because you exist. And that, my friend, is sacred. So stop waiting. Stop holding your breath. Stop auditioning for a version of life that doesn't exist. And instead, show up for the one that does. With all its mystery, all its mess, all its unexpected beauty. Because this, right here, right now, is not a rehearsal. It's the masterpiece. And it's yours to live. I'll see you out there. Go love your life. Exactly as it is. And remember, the moment you stop waiting for perfect is the moment you finally start living.